What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got a new update concerning the whole saga of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. This is now finally coming from Shelly Finkel, that they would be willing to sit down with Team Joshua after the win of Tyson Fury. Okay. I guess this is good news, but it's like, where the hell have you been? That's the question you ask for this situation. Where have you been? Deontay Wilder fans, Team Wilder, they could say, well, why are you just now giving a percentage split now as opposed to giving one to Deontay Wilder back in the day when Wilder wanted one? Well, the big difference is you've concocted a fight, and because of the buildup from this fight, you got another fight. And the thing is, it's not really about how much money he's getting now, because no one knows how much money Deontay Wilder's getting now. Neither does Tyson Fury. But what we do know it's on pay-per-view, so we do know he's going to more than likely, definitely make more money than he's ever made. And so if this guy's already predicting, which is Deontay Wilder's already predicting that he would be the A side of this equation, that means he wants to come in like calling shots. So this is a business war. This isn't really about two guys wanting to fight. It's about two guys figuring what they're worth and why they should get paid for what they get paid for and who dictates what. You know what I mean? It's like a boardroom meeting, and then one party stepped away for a long time. Now we come back. Shelly Finkel says, okay, yeah, I'll be ready to answer any questions or sit down and make a deal after the fight is made. But then you hear Deontay Wilder saying, I'm going to be the A side after I beat Tyson Fury. So then we have the two-way rematch clause. So it's a lot of things that's not really clear from the contract that we haven't really seen from both parties, from Fury and Wilder. We haven't seen what that is. We only hear that there's a rematch clause two ways. You know what I'm saying? We don't really know. We ain't seen a contract. We don't know what they're going to do. If the fight goes close, they're going to fight again. And there will be no Anthony Joshua fight. If Deontay Wilder knocks out Fury and it looks good, he's going to want too much money and price himself out. You know what I mean? He's going to want more money. We don't know what the percentage split from Eddie Hearns is. You know what I mean? We don't know that. So it's been said that another deal, another contract has been sent to Shelly Finkel. He's not talking about any of that until this fight has been finalized. You know what I mean? But here's the ironic thing about it. You're not willing to express or talk about a future fight for your fighter on his behalf while he's in training camp, but the fighter himself, which is Deontay Wilder, all he does is talk about Joshua. He went on a 10-minute rant to Anthony Joshua when he's supposed to be having a conversation about his current fight with Fury. I don't get that. Obviously, that fight is still on your mind. That fight is the fight that you want to get made. So, I know he's bitter about the fight, obviously. You know what I mean? But I think he was backed by the wrong businessmen. Now his businessmen are saying, yeah, we're willing to sit down and talk. Before they weren't at all. So I guess this is progress. But then again, is it real? How much progress is this statement? So, it's news, but is it more of the same shit? Because it's like, okay, the 50-50 you wanted originally, you didn't get. And you said, and you talked, and you pissed, and you moaned, and you complained about that slave deal that Eddie Hearn gave to you, that 12.5, that was a slave deal. Then it was increased by 15. Then he talked shit about that. Right? Then, when around that same time, the WBA ordered Anthony Joshua to fight Povetkin. Then all of a sudden, hey, yeah, I agree to terms. But it was right before that, I'll agree to terms, but you did not sign the contract. That's a fact. Anybody from the LDBC, Boxing Ego, Dante's Boxing Nation, they cannot answer that question. They would rather say, oh, all of a sudden it came out of a left field that this fight had to be made. If he's a mandatory, he will more than likely get stripped if he didn't fight Povetkin. You know what I mean? And due to the unprofessionalism that Deontay Wilder did, you talked about slave wages. You talked about how bad this deal was. But then you took that deal. You said publicly you accepted that deal, but you didn't even sign the contract. They want to make like, well, it was a few things that we had to work out. Well, if it was a few things, why didn't you sign the contract? You know what I'm saying? That would have held you accountable. And then we would have saw if Eddie Hearn would have saw and you'd have signed that contract and sent that back to him signed, you then have proof said we signed that contract. We wanted to make that fight. They can't say that there was they agreed to all the concessions. They can't say that. They said there's no date, there's no venue, and you know damn well when Tyson Fury called him out and he took the Tyson Fury fight, there was no date, there was no venue. All that came damn near a month later. Damn near a month, probably about 5 weeks later, right? From the Pianetta fight to the fight to the time that fight was made, that was a long length of time. Okay, I don't even remember the dates right now. I'm too tired, but that was a long length of time. It was enough time for people to get to think for themselves. People come on these channels and they push this agenda and they want you to believe that it's all AJ. When if it was all AJ, you don't have this. Do you mean Deontay Wilder didn't have nothing to do with this? For the reason why these guys are not fighting? Like, really? I mean, we could say, well, maybe it's both. About the 50 million, he didn't take the 50 million, and you know what I mean? We've talked about that a gang of times. You know what I mean? My problem with these other channels is they pretend like Deontay Wilder is not at fault. They don't take, you're a fan of your boy, right? You back Deontay Wilder. Okay. I think it's time for you other channels to really start being responsible and being honest about really who was at fault or the things that one person should have done. Like, say, for example, Deontay Wilder. If he didn't like that deal, he shouldn't have took that deal. He should have went on and fought Fury or went on talking shit on social media. You know what I mean? Don't turn around and say, then I'll take the deal. And then when the contract was sent back over to you, you had some other bullshit. So when you do business like that and then you run to social media talking of all your business matters, that's not professional. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see how and why no one ever talks about this on that side. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, okay, Anthony Joshua, he shouldn't have said, hey, you get $50 million, I'll fight you tomorrow. Because that you shouldn't say things out of your ass and then don't do them. I have no problem saying that because that's really the only thing that they have that Anthony Joshua said, because he said, let's roll. And said, hey, I got the $50 million. But that $50 million meant a lot, meant giving up a lot, which Eddie Hearn, being who he is, didn't want to give up those particular concessions. You know what I mean? He would lose a lot of leverage. He wouldn't have been the A side, and then it was a lot attached to that $50 million. You see what I mean? So we don't even, and it was no contract to that. It was an email sent over, and Eddie Hearn confirmed that it was an email stating that they had $50 million. You know what I mean? It was people that doubted the $50 million even existed. You see what I'm saying? So, but again, after the $50 million, because people always bring that shit up, after the $50 million, the $15 million was introduced on top of the $7 million or $8 million that he would have got for fighting Dillian White, right? Because they were going to attach Dillian White, actually fight Dillian White and attach Anthony Joshua onto it. You know what I mean? That was the original deal. So that 15 would have been 22 or 23 million. You know what I mean? So, but all of a sudden you had a problem with a date and you had a problem with a venue. There's no date, there's no contract, but you said that you agree to all terms. I remember, I follow this. So that's my question. So to get back to the initial statement about what Shelly Finkel said, he's willing to sit down with either Eddie or Barry. After all the trash talk, business have to be conducted. We'll see if it happens. I don't know if it'll happen or not, because we really don't see what this fight will produce. We don't know what it'll do. And I don't see how other channels can say, well, why do you want him to negotiate now? They want him to negotiate now because they want a sure deal. They don't want someone that already has a big head to take a better stance if he wins. Now, that's just business. I get that. No, if you thinking that you are the shit now by, you built your profile, your Instagram followers went up so much, you've gotten noticed now, okay? Yeah, I'm going to try to make a deal with you right now. You know what I mean? It's a business technique. It's some clever shit. It's an attempt. You know what I mean? But I can understand Wilder's camp. No, we're going to wait. I can understand that because they know their profile will be raised at that point. So I see both sides. It ain't just like me saying, oh, well, Deontay Wilder. But I know one thing. If Deontay Wilder should have took that money if he believed he could knock out AJ, we'd have had a fight. Or if he would have agreed and signed the contract and Eddie still had some type of excuse, then we would have knew who was ducking who. We would have knew where the problem was. That's it. You know what I mean? See, there's no way of knowing that. All this is just speculation at the end of the day. The facts that I just laid down to you guys about what Shelly Finkel said, now you're changing your mind. You could say, well, why didn't you give Deontay Wilder a percentage split earlier? At the same token, you could say, well, hell, why are you just now saying that you agree to talk about terms, only after the fight? Or, hey, well, why didn't you accept it when we offered it you the first time instead of when this WBA mandatory shit popped up? We could say that too. You know what I mean? Or what obligates you or what qualifies you to get that amount of money which you never made before? See, all these things. You fought Ortiz. Ortiz was avoided. Ortiz is still avoided. You know what I mean? That's his ace in the hole. But that's his only ace in the hole. Someone that didn't have a championship belt, someone that from fighting Wilder is still avoided. Because other heavyweights look at Ortiz, say, fuck that, I'm not fighting him. I am not fighting that guy right there. He almost knocked out Deontay Wilder and spoiled it for everybody. You know what I mean? Shelly Finkel almost had a heart attack when he seen Ortiz batter Deontay Wilder into the ropes. You know what I mean? He might have shoved a $50,000 check down the referee's pants. Help him. You know what I mean? Who knows? We don't know. But we do know he avoided. We do know Deontay Wilder got past that fight and knocked him out. He might have had some help, but he still knocked him out. So this is where we're at. Now they're willing to negotiate. The question would be now is, will Eddie Hearn have a fight planned for Joshua before that happens? See, all this is media. All this is instant, because this will get back to Eddie Hearn, But knowing Eddie Hearn right now, he's still probably celebrating over the Canelo introduction to DAZN because he knows that's just only going to increase his subscribers and his platform. It's boxing after all. So we don't know. But anyway, you guys tell me where we at. Are we anywhere? Are we getting somewhere? You guys tell me. Of course, please subscribe. And this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.